There are four shapes present on the table at this moment. I will discuss these four shapes and then I will show you something of great relevance, great importance to us as a species. For now, we shall remove these three. It has been mentioned in a previous section that I like to look for single edge with all the shapes. In the case of this object, it is actually a cube. The only way I could create single edges with the straws for the cube was to use a different version of frequency than what has previously been shown. Although I have actually discussed this version of frequency briefly in the dodecahedron face linears. The octahedron version was the main one that I discussed. So as you can see, you have the two straight lines with the V and the A. I have two purple edges, two blue edges, two red edges, two green edges, two yellow edges, and two orange edges, which make up a square on each face, thus a cube. Each one can be pulled out like so. As you can see, if I pull out the yellow and the green like this, you create, oops, we'll just put that back together. You create a diamond. This is an object that I found inside of sound, a 12-sided object made of diamonds. I will discuss diamonds at a later stage. But for now, what I'm really discussing is the movement of a shape that shifts, and how a cube can turn into something else, how any one shape can become something greater, much like I showed you with the relationship between air and sound. More on this later. For now, we'll have a look at this object. On a personal note, sitting in front of a campfire, I have seen all 6 major colors inside of the fire. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I stated previously that a tetrahedron is associated with fire. In the case of this object, it does have double edges for each of the edge. It is also fire. This one doesn't really do a lot other than put itself out. Although to be fair, if you get confused, look for this one here, which is orange, purple, and green. And you can shake it like this. Then look for the piece that has the red, yellow, and blues attached to it. Push it down on the table and allow it to start opening. I personally think, as someone who has been diagnosed with Asperger's, because of what I have been through, working with the shapes and the unique shapes that I shall show you, it has changed my brain. It really has. And I firmly feel that all indigo children, rainbow children, crystal children, whatever you want to call yourselves, if you're on the autistic spectrum, you need to start playing with these shapes, especially the ones that I shall show you in a moment. I also feel things like Alzheimer's and dementia will cease to exist if we as a species start teaching this in schools. This is one of my favorite objects that moves, that changes, that becomes something different, as you will see in just a moment. One of each color, and each one is a square. Currently, it is what appears to be a flat surface. Near enough. We'll consider it flat for the purpose of this exercise. I have this yellow point, this blue point, and this red point here. If I take these 3 points and I bring them together, I create a cube, like so. One of the things that I really like about this shape, it has been stated that there are one of each of the 6 major colors, one for each face. Let's talk about color. I have orange directly opposite blue. On the color wheel, and that's how it works, isn't it? I have red directly opposite green. I also have yellow directly opposite purple. It doesn't stop there. Currently, in my hand, I am holding one of 8 vertices, which is the red, yellow, and blue vertice. Directly opposite that, we have green, orange, and purple. Red and yellow makes orange. Yellow and blue makes green. Red and blue makes purple. Well, that's 4 of the 8 vertices explained, even though I did mention as well the green, orange, and purple directly opposite the red, yellow, and blue. So I suppose technically that's 5. Let's look at the other 3. Green and purple both have blue in them. Green and orange both have yellow in them, and purple and orange both have red. It doesn't stop there. There are many things that you can do with this shape. In the case of this one, as you can see, it still screams cube all over. But it's more like a beautiful flower. In fact, if I put it down like this, it likes to hold itself in a kind of fragmented, almost flower shape. Every one of the 6 faces, watch the purple, can drop exactly like that purple has just done. For the purpose of the exercise, I will take the green one and I will show you that it will also do the same. Just like that. When you've done that, you can open up the 4 outer pieces because the red and the green are together. I now have orange, purple, blue, and yellow in a different flower formation. Please also note this shape which gets created on the inside. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Kind of like something that we'd recognize as ancient paintings, perhaps. We've definitely used this shape multiple times over. Strange that, isn't it? Although there are a few other things that can be done with this, I don't want to have to bend it and bow it too much, because this is one of my favorite shapes, and I know I've made several other of these. I do like it. But I will now show you one final thing. In this case, I'm holding the red, the yellow, and blue. I tidy it up as best as I can. I'm going to take it off camera because I need the height. You can still see the shadow and the shadow of my hand. And then I drop it and it turns back into that which we started with. Fire and earth. Interesting. Did I skip air? No, I just made this one slightly differently. As you noticed with the previous ones, it was woven on the vertices. Whereas with this one, I have used a version of frequency, which I will show you in just a moment, and it's how it's been put together that makes it do exactly what it does. As stated in previous sections, the octahedron will show you 3 linears that go through the internal of the object. I now have some 6-pointed, almost star type thing. Interesting how an octahedron shows you the 3 linears that go through the internal of that object. Wouldn't you say? I guess this goes beyond anything such as above, so below. It's more a matter of up, down, left, right, front, and back. I personally like this version of the octahedron, as I've made several different variations of different uses. It's a long story. I've spent a lot of time with shapes. This could potentially be discussed at a later date in a different video because of what I intend to use it for. It's not just some clever shape that moves back and forth. It has purpose, it has intention. I create things with meaning. I found out recently that Tesla would always make the effort to see something in his mind before he actually physically manifested it. I've been doing that for so long it's unreal, and I only found that out a couple of months ago. And if you think I've only been playing with shapes for a short while, yeah, no. I've been playing with shapes for a very long time. I've mentioned it before, vortex mathematics is very important and you should go and check it out for yourself. When it comes to the shapes that you're observing, if it hadn't have been for vortex mathematics and the direction that I personally went in, you wouldn't be seeing these unique shapes and many, many more. I started this section with 4 shapes on this table. I'm now going to show you 3 more shapes, which are extremely relevant and very important. Just some straws, really, isn't it? Just some straws. These two have many similarities. I'll be discussing those in just a moment. I showed you the octahedron made with black straws a second ago. That was made using this right here, which is the frequency of life. I did have one version around somewhere which is made with one of each color. It's around somewhere. I've got a lot of shapes in my home. A lot of shapes. It's scary to think how many shapes I've made. As you can see, if you look at the vortex mathematics, the paperwork, you're looking at 933966. This can be made into many things. One of my personal favorites is that I can turn it into a candle. Obviously, if I want, I can also turn it into a square. If I choose to, I can turn it into a bird. Or, if I really want, I can turn it into a fish, or an arrowhead, or I don't know, whatever you want to look at it, however you want to look at it. I shall make another section which shows you all of the different variations of things that can be made with this, including the 3 edges of a cube, which also explain 4 of the vertices. I really don't know why this information has come to me. Oh God, I really need to stop it with the jokes. They're terrible, aren't they? They're just, oh, it's so bad. That's bad. Okay. This one is a very interesting shape indeed. It is an octahedron. This is made with 2 units of 6. There are many variations that I have come up with to create what I'm about to show you as base formula. This is one of the versions of base formula, although this is actually a secondary in my opinion, because it is 2 units of 6. Previously I showed you the frequency of life, which is the 933966 in straw form. There are 6 straws in that. And this has 2 units of 6. We can easily create one version of frequency, like so. And in doing so, we also create a pyramid. If you want to get really clever, you can pull that in like that, just a little bit, and it creates a hexahedron, as shown in a previous section. That one where I showed you advanced sequence using the half of the edge. If I take this and I fold this down like so, I can turn this into a tetrahedron. There's many other things that you can do with this, but for now, I'll set that off to the side because secretly I know I've already created an entirely new section that I'm going to show you in a different video, possibly at the end of this one, that shows you all the variations, or many of the variations rather, of the octahedron that I've created, and also multiple things that you can make with the octahedron. Now, as you can see, this is also an octahedron. I like this one because you can see there it's literally screaming out 933966. This one here is what I am considering base formula, and I like to call this frequent C. So in the case of the 933966 being expressed right here in straw form, we have frequency. In the case of this, we have frequent C. There are many things that you can make using this octahedron version that you can make also with the 933966 frequency version. The reason why I am considering this one above all base formula is because it is 1 unit of 12. Hence the reason why you can see there's a cable tie on that one end. Long story short, if you go and make these yourself, you will realize the way it weaves together, it definitely has a top and a bottom, a front and a back, and a left and a right. This is a lovely flower that can be created with it. And as you saw a little while ago, it is possible to create the octahedron, turn it into the hexahedron. I'm not doing very well today, am I? Hang on, I prefer, let's do this one. So we go like that, we create that, and then we push it down like that, like so. And then if I really want, I can turn this into a triangle, like so. And then obviously push it down into the nothingness. The little flower that I showed you a short while ago can also be done using the other side, which is something that I should have shown you with the 933966 version. As you can see, it's just like a 1 unit at this moment in time. I can open it on this end, I can close it, I can open it on this end. It really is like magic in itself. Thanks for watching.